When I was 25, I embarked on a solo trip to Rio de Janeiro. My favorite DJ was performing that weekend, and it was a dream come true. I've always been an adventurous solo traveler, and this trip seemed like any other, but things took a dark turn. The Airbnb I stayed at was a quaint, modern one-floor house a little outside the city. On the first night, I went to the rooftop venue where my favorite DJ was performing, and everything seemed perfect. I met some fellow travelers, including James, Ethan, and Jess. However, the next day, they had other plans, leaving me to explore the city solo. As I wandered the city, I stopped at a restaurant with English-speaking staff. Inside, it was dimly lit, and I noticed an older man seated at a table nearby. He struck up a conversation, initially praising my Portuguese skills, which soon became creepy. He made inappropriate comments and showed a keen interest in my whereabouts. After an uncomfortable meal, I left the restaurant and started walking back to my Airbnb. As I reached an intersection, I noticed the same man across the street giving me chills. He was following me. Panicking, I hurried inside my Airbnb, locking the door and closing all the blinds. Terrified, I called my dad, who advised me to be alert and keep a knife nearby. Later, I decided to go out again to a bar and then to a music venue. When I returned, I found a window in the kitchen open, which I hadn't left that way. I called the police in a panic, explaining the situation in broken Portuguese. The police arrived promptly and apprehended the man. I couldn't believe he had climbed into my Airbnb. It was a terrifying experience that made me leave Brazil, and I haven't returned since. Back when I was 19, I was in need of some extra cash, so I took on a part-time job as a waitress at a late-night diner. The place was open until 3 a.m. on weeknights and 24 hours on weekends, attracting a mix of late-night crowds and overnight shift workers. One night, around 1 a.m., a large man named Trevor walked in alone. It was a slow night, and we were the only ones in the diner. Trevor immediately struck up a flirtatious conversation with me, which was not unusual for late-night customers. He ordered a burger and a milkshake, and during the meal, he kept giving me unwanted attention. Trevor even invited me onto his boat, and I tried to decline politely. He left his number on the bill, hoping I would text him. A few nights later, Trevor returned late at night, and it felt like he was targeting my working hours. This time, he was even more persistent, asking for my full name and acting possessive. He got my full name from one of my co-workers, and he continued to send me messages. One day, I found unsettling photographs under my car's windshield wiper. The pictures were taken from a distance, some of them outside the diner, and others showed my apartment and me through my window. I was horrified. I reported this to the police, who contacted Trevor and warned him about harassment. Despite that, I decided to quit my job at the diner and moved to a new apartment to ensure my safety. This experience left me shaken, making Trevor my first and only real stalker.